Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Brian Hickey, and I serve as the director of the Florida After School Network. We have a great webinar for you today, taking a behind-the-scenes look at the free Mizzen by Mott app. Also, we will hear from a program on how they have successfully implemented the Mizzen tool for their program. I'd like to thank the Mott Foundation for all of their support to the Florida After School Network and for the foresight and drive to establish the 50-state after school network. The Mott Foundation has designed and built the Mizzen by Mott app for after-school programs to strengthen and increase their quality. Throughout this webinar today, we would love your engagement in our breakout rooms, as well as your thoughts and questions in the chat. I'd like to introduce Carrie Pardo, Program Officer of the Mott Foundation. Carrie works in the areas of after-school, service, and volunteerism. She has substantial experience in philanthropic and nonprofit sectors, including the Pistons Palace Foundation, Councils of Michigan Foundations, the Isaiah Thomas Foundation. Carrie's a graduate of Central Michigan University, and she has a Master's of Public Administration in Nonprofit Administration from Grand Valley State University. Carrie, thank you for joining us. The floor is all yours.
Good morning, everyone. As for those who joined us a little bit later, some of your colleagues are rubbing in the warm weather in Florida as I am up in Michigan. So I hope that you are truly enjoying that. I'm very jealous. But first and foremost, I just want to take a second and say thank you to all of you for being a partner of FAN, for supporting Brian and Holly and the team and the work that they're doing to try to support kids and families in Florida. This is a coalition. It's a group, can't do it by ourselves. And so really appreciate and so happy to see all of you on this call working on this issue. So just a gratitude and thank you to all of you. I'm really also excited to have a partner in crime this morning. I want to introduce you guys to James Hall. James is our user acquisition manager and an engagement lead. I actually think I even just upped your title there, James, but he is newer to our Mizzen team, has been on now, James, how long?
A little over a month. So.
Okay. So we're just, we put everyone to the test right away. We just jump in and we go. But the Mott Foundation is really excited to have launched in 2020 our Mizzen app. And James is going to walk us through kind of pieces of the app. What is it? What does it do for the field? And to talk a little bit about some next steps and things that are coming, including a webinar that we're hoping all of you can help us to promote. So for the field. So James, I'm going to turn it over to you to get us started.
Awesome. Thank you for that introduction, Carrie, and wonderful to meet you all today. I'm going to see if I can get my screen share going here so we can get started. And let's get it started. All right. Can everyone see my screen?
Looking good.
All right. So everyone, I'm so excited to be here today and share the exciting news about the Mizzen by Mott app and what it can do for the field. I'm looking forward to sharing all of here's an overview of what we'll be covering today. We'll be starting with some quick history of Mizzen and highlights of some of its functionality. Then we'll have a short quiz on the usage of Mizzen in Florida right now. Next, we'll share what's new and coming soon in the Mizzen app. And finally, we'll take questions and answers at the end and get you all the right links to connect and stay in the loop of what's happening with Mizzen. So the story of Mizzen. First off, let me share a short video overview of the app.
Oh, James, the sound is not playing.
The sound is not playing. Okay.
You have to, in your share screen, there's an icon that you click that says share computer sound as well.
Let's see.
So I think you might actually have to go out.
Share sound
instead.
Okay. There we go. It's
okay. Okay. Here we go, everyone. Sorry about that. We're good to go.
The life-changing work of educating young people has never been more important. educators, and those who support them know that after-school programs are key to inspiring and engaging young people today and as they look to the future. Mizzen by Mott can help. Mizzen provides age-appropriate content so you can easily find captivating, engaging activities in STEM, arts, and literacy, and so much more. To meet the needs of this moment, Mizzen also offers activities that can be done at home or in small group settings to support and nurture learning wherever children are. Mizzen also provides tools for scheduling, organizing, and communicating with your team. Another key feature is Pro Tips, which provides fresh ideas, news, and advice from industry experts. Mizzen is dedicated to those who want to inspire young people to love learning. And through support from the Mott Foundation, it's completely free.
There we go. So I hope everyone enjoyed that video. Now let's take a little deeper dive into the history. This is how it all began. A question from Ridgway White, Charles Stewart Mott Foundation's president. The question was, how can we leverage technology for after-school programs? So we went straight to the source. We spoke to teachers and service providers on the front lines of after-school programs across the country. After our initial interviews, it was clear that Mott was onto something here. We saw a need and created a 4-step process to fill in this need. We needed to identify what does the sector need, define the solution, define the audience, and then design and build the solution. So the app is designed specifically for the after-school field. The leaders, the real boots on the grounds, making a difference in the lives of students like many of you here today. Let's see, there we go. Okay. I think we all could agree our youth get a lot of screen time in this day and age, but Mizzen's quality content is not about creating more screen time for kids. Mizzen sparks hands-on learning. Mizzen by Mott saves time and money for after-school programs by making it convenient to find great, free, high-quality content all in one place. But we also simplify the day-to-day and help programs function more efficiently by managing their groups and rosters and scheduling activities in advance. Mizzen also puts the best practices at your program's fingertips by supporting professional development. And all of this functionality is built right into the app. Mizzen Groups helps you organize students into specific cohorts, so you know what groups are scheduled on what days, and you can assign teachers and activities to your groups. Scheduling made easy. Use the calendar and scheduling to keep track of what activities you have scheduled for your students and groups. High quality content. There is good content out there, but it can be difficult to find. Most people are searching Pinterest or Googling subjects to find content for their classes, as we've heard a little earlier today. We're doing two things. We're sourcing and creating the best content out there, and then making it incredibly easy for you to find that content and present it. Next, there. So we offer over 1,000 pieces of content that foster learning and well-being through activities in arts, STEM, literacy, digital media, and entrepreneurship. The content is sourced from the country's foremost content providers, including NASA, Jazz at Lincoln Center, California Academy of Science, Oregon Asks, YouthQuest, Venture Lab, and the list keeps on growing. Now instructors can choose and deliver content they trust in a much more organized, efficient way. Professional growth for summer. So it came up in almost every conversation with frontline staff. After-school instructors always want to be the best they can be for their kids. Pro tips written by after-school professionals and leaders in the field provide solutions and strategy to maximize their effectiveness and how they deliver curriculum and deal with classroom challenges. Use these tips to keep your staff on a consistent path to growth as you gear up for summer. All right. So that completes our brief overview. Next up, let's talk about some of the new things and what's coming soon to the Mizzen by Mott app. There we go. Next. So what's new? We have exciting new entrepreneurial content from Nifty, the network for teaching entrepreneurship. Mizzen is always releasing new updates, features, and content to the app. We've just added the ability to feature, the ability for individuals to create an account without having to be a part of an organization. Last month, we curated a playlist of 10 activities exploring Black history to keep social justice and DEI at the center of your learning year-round. STEM Next and NASA have included several new engaging STEM activities that will excite and inform. And to meet the needs of this moment during the pandemic, the Mizzen team has added new activity playlists and multi-week modules that can be done in-home or in small group settings. And our latest content release comes from KidGrit, which we'll be hearing about a little later, includes 6 SEL-focused activities like Stop the Madness that shows students how to differentiate real news from fake news. There we go. So what's coming? We're always planning for the future, and there's lots of excitement now as we plan to release new content around recycling and Earth Day. We're also expanding our partnership with Jazz at Lincoln Center to bring new activities as we celebrate Jazz Appreciation Month. This summer, expect new Mars activities from NASA. And mark your calendars for Earth Day this year. We're having a virtual Twitter chat hosted by Foundations, Inc., focused on healthy habits that protect our planet. And now that I've shared a surface level preview, I'm going to turn it back over to Carrie, who will be introducing our program spotlight.
Thank you. Thanks, James, for sharing all of that about Mizzen. And I hope that you guys are starting to see what amazing tools and resources are available for yourselves and for your peers. As we are continuing to build this, we are, just as James shared, expanding with great content partners, some of which you'll get to see today. But before we jump into looking at that content, we thought it'd be great to actually take a little time to hear from an after-school professional who has been utilizing Mizzen since day one. In fact, even before it was launched in our pilot phase. And so I would like to introduce Willie Buford, who is the site manager at YouthQuest. And we want to welcome him to this webinar. And what we're going to do is just a little bit of dialogue of Q&A between Willie and myself, just to help you guys get a sense of Mizzen and how YouthQuest and Willie are utilizing that. So Willie, welcome.
Hi, Carrie. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Pretty good.
Good. To get us started, Willie, could you tell us about YouthQuest, what it is, who you guys serve, and the role that you have within the organization?
Yes, I'll be happy to. So YouthQuest is a free after school program here in the city of Flint, Michigan. And it's an initiative started from the Flint and Genesee Chamber of Commerce. We like to call ourselves a chamber on steroids, simply because most Chamber of Commerce just work with business. Here in Flint, our Chamber of Commerce is looking to train and retain the talent here in this city. And YouthQuest is one of the ways we do that, right? From kindergarten all the way up to young adults, we're focusing on the citizens in this city. And our K through 12 program here in Flint, we are housed in each and every Flint Community School building. So we're serving all the students K through 12, and we're also in an IAF International Academy school where we have their entire school as well. My role, I always like to say I started from the bottom, and now I'm here. I was a frontline learning guide is what we called it. So that would be an after school teacher, and kind of made my way up from there to a site leader, site team leader, and now I am a site manager where out of our 13 sites that we have, I manage 4 of them, 1 high school, 2 elementaries, and an alternative learning academy as well.
Thanks, Willie. And you definitely didn't start at the bottom, but we are so glad that you have continued to stay with YouthQuest, and really it shows your passion for young people and families in Flint. So really appreciate that. If you could share a little bit, Willie, about how YouthQuest has been implementing Mizzen at the different organizational levels and team levels. I think that might help people kind of get a sense of, what are the possibilities here?
Definitely. So one of my roles in YouthQuest is the coordinator of our professional development. So at minimum, that's 75 staff members. At maximum, that's about 150. And one of the things that we always do in professional development, because just like Carrie said about me, I'm just a passionate community member, right? I do have some formal education, but a lot of our staff does not. And so one of the big things when it comes, and you guys know this as after school professionals, is that lesson planning piece, right? And so a lot of our professional development is built around that lesson planning piece and teaching people how to lesson plan. And that you can really get into the muck with that. And so like Carrie said before, being a partner in ideas of creating this app and then also launching it has been tremendous for our organization, in a sense that we used to hire curriculum coordinators to align what we want to do with our hands-on and engaging activities to the Common Core standards. But now the Mizzen app covers that, and it covers it for free. So we are able to actually use those resources in other ways.
I feel like, Willie, you should repeat that over and over again, right?
Yes.
But I think just summing that up, I mean, one is Mott's intent always, right, was to create this app, but it is that, we know that trying to find great curriculum that's going to be engaging and exciting for kids can cost money. And we want to serve more kids and have more of an impact. And so Mizzen is a way to help with that. And so thank you for sharing that, Willie.
Yes, you're welcome. I would also say, Carrie, in that and that's just on a curriculum side, but a lot of our learning guides will carry around these big folders full of paper, right? And copying costs too. But now the Mizzen app is a tool that they already have on their phone, so it definitely helps in a lot of different ways and reducing the cost.
Yeah, that's great. And I agree with Julia. You are to be modeled after Willie. So I think that is spot on. Can you just talk about, Willie, how incorporating Mizzen into the program with your team, how has that helped to achieve your goals in connecting young people with quality learning experiences?
Yes. And so first of all, it starts with the content, right? The content on the Mizzen app is so rich, and it's exactly what we want to do, and it aligns with our goals here in the city and also in YouthQuest. The content that when you think about, the first thing is 21st century skills, right? That's what we all are striving to get our kids to learn and know, because this, they're the future leaders of the world. But in addition to that, and even in a climate that we're in, COVID, that social emotional learning piece, and these are the different, modules and activities that the Mizzen app provides. When we're talking about entrepreneurship, we are the chamber, right? So once again, we use a lot of these activities and relaying that to our students as well. And once again, it's easy. You don't have to be a formal educator to pick this up and practice it and then deliver it to your students.
That's great. Thank you. And I'm so glad to hear, right, some of the different things that you've been focusing and utilizing Mizzen with, like entrepreneurship and others, just to kind of show that breadth and depth, and that there is hopefully something for everyone, right, on there is, I think, really great. Willie, you've really kind of given us an overview of how you guys have used it, how it's integrated into your professional development and the impact of young people. Is there anything else that you would like to share with this group today?
Yes, I would say a couple things. One is there's a group feature on this as well. So our learning guides really enjoy being able to connect with other learning guides who may be at a different site who's doing the same project and talk about some of the modifications, right? Some of the challenges they had delivering, and then also celebrate some of the things of that. And once again, Carrie, I will say that it is free Free, 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 right? And that is the key word. We are a free after school program to our students, and we had to pay a lot of money in curriculum once again. And now that cost has been alleviated, and we can do a lot more things that, kind of spark and are good for our students. So it's free and it's great.
Thanks, Willie. I appreciate it. And appreciate you sharing about Mizzen and the impact that it's having, and just, love to, of course, have YouthQuest engaged in all of this and really helped us again since day one. So we really appreciate that.
It's definitely my pleasure. I enjoy sharing great content and great tools with everyone in the after school profession.
Thanks, Willie. Well, now that you've heard a little bit about Mizzen, right, from James, and then from Willie, of how does this really get utilized and adapted at the local level in different areas, right, from implementation, on the ground learning, to PD, to groups. Now we'd like to take this opportunity to dive in a little bit more and hear about some of the content and resources that are actually on Mizzen that you can access and utilize. So we'd like to welcome our content partner, Julia Gaber, mindful founder of Kid Grit, and she is waving. She is the energy, right? She is that after school professional energy that we always have. Where social emotional learning, youth development, and character education meet as one, which is pretty phenomenal if you think about that. So Julia, we want to thank you and welcome you to this webinar. And to help us get started, as you're introducing yourself, can you just tell us about Kid Grit and the types of resources you are sharing with the after school and summer learning field, or even in plenaries, as we know. Julia speaks at statewide and national conferences everywhere on this. But what is the resources that you have then put on Mizzen, and why are those resources so important at this critical time as well?
Carrie, that was like 20 questions.
It was, but, I know that you're going to cover it all in one, in your presentation.
First of all, what is going on in Florida? I'm so excited because I'm going to be keynoting at the FASA conference in September. So I'll see you there. And right now we're going to do a little bit of what's going to happen in that session. It's a big, awesome self-reflection question, which is what we need right now. Reflection, skills about who we are, how we're doing, why we're doing, how we're taking care of ourselves. So can you go to the next slide, my friend? I'm gonna just ask James to click for me. So my name is Julia Gabor. I am the mindful founder of a company called Kid Grit. We are a professional development company and SEL curriculum company. We offer over 35 different kinds of professional development sessions online and in person as we open up. We're already booking for August. It's cuckoo nuts. I have personally been in the field for almost 20 years, coming from, well, I'm going to get to that. So our company does a lot of different things. And right now, what I'm going to do is talk to you a little bit about Kid Grit, and then we're going to talk about Mizzen, and then we're going to do an activity that actually is from Mizzen. So we really focus on the educator first while we're working with social emotional learning and mindfulness. We really want the educator to be connected to the work before they release it to their kids, right? There wasn't a credential program for social emotional learning in college, but so many people are like SEL, right? Equity, inclusion, and it's all connected. And so we built a bunch of activities for Mizzen and for COVID to help educators be able to talk to kids about their feelings, take action, empower them. So we go to the next slide. So before I get into the resources, do you all mind if give us like all these cameras are off. Ugh, Madonna mia. Could you just please just give us a thumbs up if you're really there, or a celebration sign with your reactions? Can we see? Oh, good. I see Thais, Jamie. Oh, Allison turned her camera on. Lynn, yes, I'm here. Rona, yes, okay. Because we are going to go into breakout rooms. And if you can turn your cameras on, we're going to be chatting it up. So before we get into that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me so you know. And this is part of the keynote. This is like a glimpse and top level view. I'm originally born and raised in New York City in the 1970s. Don't tell anybody. I'm really, I'm old, but I've been in the field since I was young. Right? My parents divorced when I was young, when I was 3. They were artists. If you guys know anything about artists, if they're not famous, I'm going to say, put this in the chat box. If you're not famous when you're artist, you don't make a lot of what? If you're not famous as an artist, what is it? You don't make a lot of what? Waiting, put it in the chat box. Money, yes, there they go. Dough, yes, yeah, right. So I didn't grow up with a lot of money, right? My parents divorced, they were artists. I'm an only child. I had one parent, my father, he had a substance abuse issue. And when I was a teenager, his girlfriend, my dad's girlfriend, who didn't like kids, rented the apartment next door to us, gave me a set of keys, and then I was on my own at 12 years old, taking care of myself. So I would pause here for a second and ask you guys a question. Do you have kids in your programs now who come from a divorced home, a blended family, there's substance abuse in their life? Like, do you have kids that are going through that? Just throw a yes or no in the chat box. Holly, yes. Jacqueline says yes, right? Yes, right? Like, yeah, okay, so good. So this is, well, that happened to me 45 years ago. And with all the research and all the books that we have on parenting, that still remains an external, happening that happens to our kids around the world probably. And what happens to those kids is they have behavior reactions to growing up like that. Those are circumstances. And they become, I don't know, you probably could guess also, but they become a little not encouraged. They become angry, right? They disassociate. And they have behavioral issues, and that's where we get them, right? In out of school time, where they're not engaged in school, they're having behavioral problems. So basically, I am the same as these young kids, but it's 45 years later. I went to college, I got out of New York City, it changed my life. And then I knew when I got out of college, I always wanted to work with kids. Right? It was like, I had a message for kids. And so next slide, please. So I was an actor who wanted to make a lot of money in the movies, become a famous movie star. And when I was done with that career, I was going to start a nonprofit for kids, a brick and mortar building. Well, when I came to LA, it was a crazy experience. Right? This was like everybody else's actor story, and nothing is unique about it except that it was a crazy experience. So I had a little bit of a breakdown, like a nervous breakdown. I was on a friend's couch sobbing, and I said, all I want to do is work with kids. I'm 30 years old, living on credit cards. I have, no health insurance, and I'm not getting my dream accomplished by making $1 million as a famous actor. He said, Julia, why do you need $1 million to work with kids? And I was like, the what? So he said, just go work with kids. And I started my first after school work at the After School All-Stars. We actually have somebody on this call who's at the Tampa chapter. Give a shout out to Rhonda Flowers, who's an all-star. And I was there for 3 years. Anyway, that was, 15 years ago, oh, okay, Miami, okay, welcome. So anyway, I've been in the field for a long time. I've had a lot of different jobs. The point of the story is that I'm a mission-driven person, right? The reason I do this work is because I never want a kid to feel the way I felt. That's it. I just never wanted kids to feel abandoned, lonely, you know, by themselves. And so I started a company with a partner in New Jersey. He's a certified holistic wellness coach. I'm like a youth development specialist. We blended what we did. We built a curriculum. We started doing PD. We did research on SEL. What makes SEL work? And that's Kid Grit. And that's what Kid Grit is. So next slide. Miami, huh? So we have a holistic SEL solution. We offer a whole bunch of things like curriculum, worksheets, books, workshops for staff, keynotes, or whatever you have questions about. We customize everything. Okay, next slide. So we're going to get to an activity. And I'm putting in, oh, I have to do YSEL. So if you don't know about SEL, right? Why are we doing social emotional learning right now? Because we don't know how our kids are going to show up when they come back full time. We don't know what's going to happen, how they're going to sit in their seats, what their emotional capacity is, what happened at home. Did they have, you know, food inequity? Did they really have a big learning loss? Have they not socialized in a year? What is their, you know, behavioral activity going to be like? So what we do with SEL, no matter where you come from, and we do it the best in after school, is that we help kids be seen and heard and give them voice and agency. Like, we live for that. They don't always get to do that during the school day because they're bogged down by curriculum that is, you know, required. So that's what makes after school so special. We reach them in so many different ways. So SEL is really connecting to kids on self-regulation, self-management, positive decision-making, also social and cultural awareness, really bridging to what Willie said, to that 21st century skill set, right? Really helping them get prepared for college and or a career. So SEL is super important, and it's going to be more important as we start to open up and get regular again. Okay, next slide, because I want to get to the activity. And there we go. Awesome. So Holly did put in a PDF, and I'm putting in the chat a Jamboard link. I put it in again for sharing, and I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to talk about this holistic wellness wheel. Some of you who have been with us before, you guys have seen this. So if you're on the Jamboard, great. You'll see that there's a wheel here, and there are 10 sections in the holistic wellness wheel. We call this a life satisfaction survey. You can use this in so many different ways. You can use it as an icebreaker. You can do a 45-minute activity. You can dive into one section. You can set goals. You can do classroom goals, program goals, or you can do administrative goals. It's great for staff meetings also. And the idea is to rate yourself, let's say 0 to 5, right? And 0 would be down here in the center, 5 on the outside, 5 being like, awesome, I got this, I'm really centered in this. 0 being like, I need really a lot of work on this. There's a lot of room for improvement. And what we're going to do is we're going to mark ourselves, right? We're just going to pick something on the left side. You can do it on your own copy. The left side is your toolbar, and you're going to rate yourself, right? So my home environment, you know what, you guys, I live alone. My home environment, I don't have to pick up after anybody. There's no noise in my house. I have candles. I take nice soothing baths for self-care. I have a very good home environment. Am I eating mindfully? You know, during COVID, it's been like up and down and up and down and up and down. Some weeks good, some weeks bad. So far, today's Tuesday, I'm doing good this week. So I'm just going to say I'm starting here in this week, right? So I'm going to go, yep, I'm doing okay. Come on, let's go. Let's move. Oh, I'm moving the wrong thing. Here we go. So my mindful eating is good this week. Okay, and then so next I'm gonna take a pen. I think it's gonna be easier, right? My relationship skills. How am and that's like an aggregate of everybody right now. I could focus just on family, I could say work, but you know, I'm pretty centered. My relationship skills are pretty good. So I'm gonna make a mark right here. Oh, what do you think? Digital consciousness and screen time. probably for most of us, pretty low because we're just working this way. And that's like a 1 or a 2. Social and cultural awareness, I'll be really transparent. I think that, you know, with my past coming from New York, that I'm pretty culturally diverse. I have friends from, you know, different backgrounds. I eat different ethnic foods. I listen to all kinds of music culturally. But since current events and Black Lives Matters and really understanding white privilege, I think, you know what, I have more to learn. So I'm not going to give myself such a high mark. I'm going to be a humble learner here, and I'm going to go in the middle. I have a lot of confidence. I have to speak in front of a lot of people. I like myself. I've had a lot of therapy. Okay, so my physical activity, exercise and movement, also not doing well this week. I have some injury from being a former athlete. So not really high, about a 2. Self-management and regulation. How do I manage my feelings? Do I react impulsively? Do I have fight or flight mechanisms? Well, again, I've had a lot of work on myself. It's my world. I'm doing pretty good this week. Some weeks, maybe not, but at least I'm aware. So, and do I make responsible decisions? Yeah, because I'm 50 and I have to. But when I was 20, it would have been a lot different if you asked me this question. And this is the epitome of a self-awareness activity, right? So how's my self-awareness? Again, pretty high for me because I think about myself all the time. I like myself a lot. So if you go to page 2 on this, the actual definitions are in this Jamboard. You can read it. So, so what I'd like you to do now is just take 2 minutes, and if you can't use Jamboard, that's okay. If you can pull the PDF from the chat box and print it, you can do it that way. If you want to just add your numbers like 1 to 5 in the chat box and write mindful eating 4, home environment 5, you can do it that way. If you want to just write it out, you can do it that way. There's so many ways for you to do it. And I want you to just take 1 to 2 minutes to rate yourself. The reason why we're doing this now is because this is in the app. And that's pretty cool, right? This is in the app. So, so please take 1 to 2 minutes, and then we're going to go into breakout rooms for about 3 or 4 minutes. And then we're going to come back and we're going to deconstruct, we're going to analyze, have a conversation. Let's see. I'm going to pull mine. Oh, no, I can't do that actually. So however you want to add, the reason why I say to you, you can download it and you can do it on your own screen. You can do it on this screen. You can do it in the chat box. You can just handwrite it out. It's because we do workarounds with technology, right? Not everyone has access to these tools. So we want to make sure that you can do it a million different ways. And don't forget that there are on page 2 definitions, and you can go to that, I think. If you have questions, please ask the questions. And then the next part of this, my favorite part here, is we're going to connect the dots. Once you have, whoa, that's not a good one. Once you have done your dots, we say plotting your dots, you're going to connect your dots, connect them. Freehand, not my thing, but that's okay. Right? It's hard to look, right? What is it? And you start to see a pattern, right? There's no specific way that these 10 sections were put into the wheel. So, but you can start to see shapes occur, and then you're looking like, wow, like people are different. It's anonymous too, by the way. Like you're not exposing yourself on Jamboard, right? Pretty anonymous. So you take a look at that and you see that people have different things going on. They're in different places. Some things are actually kind of similar. Okay, so I'm gonna stop share. You guys can use that on your own screen if you want to. And here's what's gonna happen now. No matter where you are, it's okay. We're doing this rapid fire. So what you're gonna do is we're going to go into breakout rooms. Holly's going to put you in breakout rooms. We're just going to go in for like 3 to 4 minutes. Introduce yourself if you don't know the person you're in the room with. Don't just start the activity. Turn your cameras on. Be seen, right? It's so nice to share. You'll see. I promise. I know things. I do this a lot, right? So turn your cameras on if you can. If you can't, say, hey, I can hear you, but I can't turn my camera on right now. But it's really nice to do that, to connect with people. And what you're going to do is you're going to share, what do you see? What do you notice? Are there any similarities? Or are there differences? Or just talk about your wheel and say, oh, here's my wheel. This is where I am. Or where can I use this activity? Whatever you want to do in your rooms, you can share for you, which is really beautiful. And we need it. By the way, we need that. And then also you could share, oh, I see this as a tool to use for blank. Okay, Holly, I think we're ready. She's going to invite you. You're going to click join while she gets the room set up. And you're going to get going. Okay.
There should be a blue button on your screen. Just click on that. If you missed it somehow, down in your taskbar, there should be a button that says breakout rooms. Click on that. And if you need help finding it, let me know and I can manually move you if needed.
Okay, Clarissa, Louisa, Colby, Holly, Luis, Evan, Nicole, are you guys there?
Looks like some of them are moving.
All right, awesome. Clarissa, do you see an invitation to go into a room? Oh, whoops. Okay.
Fortunately, I don't think anybody is by themselves except poor Willie is hanging out by himself without you, Carrie.
Oh, and I just stayed because I figured, you know.
Yeah, I'm gonna move Alex to someone where other people are chatting. Give me just a second.
And do you have the ability when you're done with that to make me a co-host so I can go into different rooms? We're gonna come back in 3 minutes. My clock says 11:48, so.
I'm gonna broadcast a message. You were asking if I have the ability to make you a co-host? No,
Yeah.
we had to have set that up beforehand. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
But if you want to move into a room, tell me what room you want to move into, and then I can move you into rooms and just take you out and move you around.
I'll just go into room 9, because you don't know if I'm in the middle of a conversation, if you're gonna be like, "Whoop," and pull me out.
You can always come back to the main stage, and then I can put you to another room. Okay. So
I'm gonna go to room 9. I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. Clarissa, Mario, Louisa, are you guys with us? Do you need help Louisa, do you need help finding your room? On your taskbar, there should be a little button that says breakout room, and just click on that and you should take you right to your room.
Julia's back.
Oh, was Nicole by herself?
You're on mute.
So can we move Nicole into another room because she is by herself?
Absolutely. I'm going to move her right now. There you go.
Okay. Thanks. I'm going. Can you put me into room 1?
Yes. Where'd you go? Sorry.
I was in 9.
There we go. There you go.
Yeah.
And Willie is by himself, so I'm going to move him to room 5.
Okay. Now, Going into rooms is always a little tricky.
You never know if people are going to participate and
No.
how they're going to participate and all of that.
Yeah.
I love the new version though. You can have, you can set up like the breakouts and people can choose like where they want to go.
Yeah, that is nice.
We just did a conference for about 85 people that way. And the only problem with it is if you don't have the latest version of Zoom, then it doesn't work.
Here comes Julia again.
All right, Julia, where to now? Oh,
2.
she's saying 2?
Yep.
All right. There we go. And I'm going to give them 1 minute.
Good.
Did she go? Yeah.
Yep, I think she's going. I think it's just a little delayed.
Mm-hmm. Well, my new camera is lovely, but it's strange.
I understand.
Should I do the 60-second countdown where it brings everybody back automatically? Or do you want me to ask Julia?
You did put a minute in a second ago, right? Or a few minutes? Or...
I did. Julia, do you want me to do the 60-second countdown?
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. Welcome, welcome. Nice to see your camera on, Susan. Haley, I see you too. I see you. We do a lot of facilitation tips online where we help people, right? Like Carrie, I'm gonna pass the pen. Are you ready? Okay, ready? Here comes the pen.
Okay.
Better grab the pen.
Here it comes. Wait, got it.
Oh, yeah, okay. You have to pass the right.
Pass it to
breaking the board. Okay, passing it to Susan. Susan,
like I'm in between you guys on my screen.
Here comes Susan.
Susan's trying to figure out
There
how do I get that pen. Oh, there she goes.
Jackie got it. Oh,
yeah.
Right, you have to bring it back on. I got it from Jackie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep going.
You have to just tell the person who you're sending it to. You'll be like, Lynn, I'm giving you my pen. Lynn, can you grab my pen? Can you grab the pen, Lynn? Oh, there it goes. Okay. Okay. Are we all back? Okay, so
Yeah.
Anybody have any observations that they want to share? I went into a couple rooms. Some people were just getting to know each other, which is great to have the opportunity to chat. What other observations did you have about the holistic wellness wheel? Anybody have any? You can unmute, I think, or put it in the chat box. What observations did you have about what happened in your room, the holistic wellness wheel? What observations? What did you notice? James, you can go to the next slide. James said, able to identify very low and high points. Yeah. Right. So grab, right? I know what you need to work on. It shows you pretty clearly, right? Like, oh, look, there's like a graph, right? This is really different than like a 1 through 5 questionnaire where it's like circle 4 if you feel this, circle, what are you going to circle? This is like graphic, it's a visual, and it's a connector, right? So like I said, you can use this for goal setting, you can use it for team building, you can really use this for staff and or youth. The reason why we're doing this activity, you'll see that in the next slide, please. The CASTLE framework is embedded. CASTLE is the collaboration of academic, social, and emotional learning. And we embedded these. This is the research framework around why SEL and how you put SEL into activities, right? And so these activities are embedded in most SEL programs. Doesn't have to be K-grade. And you guys do it in after school all the time anyway. You're doing it all the time. It's pretty awesome. So we're doing this wheel because in the Mizzen app, it's one of the activities that's available to you with full instructions. That's a high quality activity that is used with leadership groups all the way down to K through 3. K3s, they have a different one. It is, it's not as complicated, the language, and there's less sections. The other thing that we wanted to share were the COVID resources. And so I think you can stop sharing. I don't think I have any more slides. Right, so the COVID resource, okay, we're gonna skip that. So I wanna share also that in the Mizzen app, we put 5 activities that are COVID related. And it means, how do we talk to kids about COVID from an SEL point of view to help them express themselves, to learn how to articulate their feelings, to understand what a virus actually is. They're super hands-on, interactive activities. What is social distancing? Have they been afraid at any time during COVID or had a crazy experience? Giving them a chance to talk about it and address it. And then, like what Carrie said earlier, there is this unpacking fake news or stop the madness. Maybe it was James. We have this activity where they look at news resources and say, like, you know, is this where I find out real facts, or what is a real fact? Is it on social media, or is it through CNN or through MSNBC? And they have a chance to do research. So it's really like they're investigating their feelings. They're able to talk about a current event, and then they can really help themselves by understanding how to calm themselves down by giving themselves information. So these activities sit in the Mizzen app. Everything is written out, objective goals, activities, like what you do, it's all there. So I'm gonna close out and leave room for questions today. I appreciate you guys going through this. Hopefully you found it, you know, useful, awesome, and exciting. There's a lot more we can do with more time, but I'm gonna turn it over to the people that need to, you know, give the quiz and the giveaway. It's so important.
Thanks, Julia, for getting us through that activity. It's really great. I saw people's comments and really appreciate it. It's a fantastic tool and activity that can be done in after school program. So we appreciate that you are a part of the Mizzen family, and to help kind of take us home almost, we have, as James mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, a couple little quick quiz and giveaway. We all like items, right? Free items in the after school field. So James, I'm going to turn it over to you, and then we'll see if we have time for questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Carrie. And that was a very exciting activity. It was great meeting the people in my group. So thank you, Julia, for sharing that with us. All right, so now let's have some fun with this quiz. The first one, we have 3 questions, and the first person to answer in the chat wins. All right, so have your hands on your keyboards and get ready. The first one to answer, you can answer A, B, C, or D, or you can just answer whatever the answer is. And here's the first one. How many pieces of content does Mizzen have in the app? 100 to 200, 500 to 900. All right, we got some letters flowing in there. And Holly and Carrie, I think if you can help me look and see who was the first person.
Yes,
the correct answer is D, which is 1,000 to
and I have Jacqueline Gonzalez.
Jacqueline Gonzalez.
And we will provide email addresses so that you can reach out directly to Jackie after the conclusion of this.
Perfect. Thank you, Holly. Yay! All right, we have 2 more questions. Next question. How many sections does the holistic wheel have? Okay, they're rolling in there. I don't know who was first, but we're gonna put the answer is 10, which is B.
Lynn Bittner.
Lynn Bittner, perfect. And the final question for today is, what city does YouthQuest operate in?
Wait, I can't answer. Sorry, I got excited there.
Tulsa, Flint, Detroit, or Chicago? All right. And the correct answer is Flint, Michigan.
Flint.
That
And
is correct.
Alexstrina Green is the winner.
Nice. Congrats, Alexstrina. Drina, you were in my group. All right. So now that I've asked you all questions, does anyone have any questions for us?
Susan has her hand raised.
Okay.
So, oh, Sue, you're all set now, Susan?
No, I was just saying, great job. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Susan.
Are there other questions or any questions, I should say?
Any questions?
Feel free to raise your hand and I'll prompt you to unmute, or you can drop it in the chat.
All right. So no questions today. So I'm going to just close it out here with, you can connect with Mizzen on all of the listed social media sites. You can also visit our website by going to www.mizzen.org. Oh, we have a question. Is content separated by grades? So yes, we have content in the search function. You can pull up content by grades as well as age range, as well as categories, different topics, and the duration of the activity. You can also search for a 30-minute activity at a 1 hour long activity. So there's a few different search functions that you can use. All right, and with that, you can visit our website, mizzen.org. You can also create an account from our website and log into our desktop version. If you don't want to download the app, you can access Mizzen straight from your browser just by going to mizzen.org and clicking create an account and get instant access without downloading an app. If you would like to download the app, you can download that on Google Play, the Apple App Store, and we can't forget that Mizzen is free, all through support from the Charles Stewart Mott Foundation. And with that, that is all from us.
Yeah, appreciate James, Willie, Julia. Thank you for taking time today to be with us. And just want to also thank everyone on the phone for everything that you guys are doing day in and day out to support kids and families. It's especially during this time, it is so critical. And so we thank you and applaud everything that you are doing. And I know Brian has, I think, a quick wrap up here, so I'll turn it back to him.
Thank you, Carrie, and thank you to Julie and James and the whole team here. So I really appreciate everyone joining us to learn more about Mizzen, and please download it. It's free. Explore, learn, ask questions. I think it's a great tool, and it's a new tool that we are trying to learn more about. That's one of the great commitments by Mott, is they want feedback so that they can make those adjustments, add even more quality curriculum, and just keep to grow the tool itself. So if you'd like to learn more about the Florida After School Network, you can find us at flafterschool.com. If you want to learn more about the great webinars that we're putting on, more information, you can download and or register for our newsletter, at our website, flafterschool.com. Of course, all the social medias and all that is great things. But a big thank you to the Mott Foundation for building and developing this tool and sharing it with us today. So thanks to everybody, and we appreciate your time. So thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Hi, everyone.